right, guys, another edition of Benfica After 90. It's been quite some time since we've been able to get together. Scheduling's been chaotic, but not as chaotic as Benfica's fast fixtures, so hopefully we can be forgiven a little bit more than the club itself. Um, but I got someone that always brings me joy, Mr. Mello. Alex, how you doing,
What's
buddy?
up, Mario? What's up, man? I'm glad to be back. It's been hectic, you know what I mean, to get a show on, and we've been gone for a couple weeks. We got a lot, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. So it should be I guess I got a lot of questions basically over these last weeks. I got more questions than answers. You know what I mean? This team just I don't know. It lost its I lost its swagger a little bit. I guess you can say lost its mojo. Maybe we maybe we blew our wad against not even against Bayern, but Barcelona. I mean, that was the best we've looked. Then that was 5 games ago.
Yeah,
So
man, you could almost trace it back to. I know today was Bayern Munich, but you basically trace it back to the last Bayern game. Yeah, we looked great against Barcelona. You started looking. Yeah, then you had the Portimonense, feeling a little rocky about that. But we still kind of got the win in the Taça Portugal. Not a great win, but a 2-1 extra time. But it was that Bayern Munich losing at home 4-0. It didn't feel fair, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, man, that from that point onward, it's kind of went downhill, man. Vizela barely scratching out a 1-0, tying against Guimarães in the Taça Portugal, tying against Estoril. The team has in the last month, really throughout the month of October, if you look at it collectively, it's been a rough time, man. Very rough time.
yeah, I say I think one thing I've noticed, and I say this all the time on Twitter and really just to my in my own head while I'm watching his games, the intensity sometimes just seems like it's not there at points in the game. I don't know what I don't know what it could be. I really don't have an answer for it. But like I said, since we played Barcelona, I mean, we lose to Portimonense. I mean, if I go back to that game, no intensity. We played Taça Portugal, a second division team in how you say Trofrense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Bayern Munich comes in, and like you said, it didn't feel just. I mean, we played really, really hard till the 70th minute, but you still lose 4-0. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? I always say you get what you deserve. Benfica Vizela, 98th, I mean, we had to take it down to the wire. Rafasul with, I mean, I don't think we had a show to cover that. I'm not sure we did.
No, no, I don't
Um,
think that one.
yeah, so it's like the last couple matches, and then Vitoria Guimarães comes back in the Taça da Liga from, down 2-1, if I'm not mistaken, 3-1 even, ties the game. And just the intensity has just been, like I said, it's just lackluster. It's not there. I don't know who to blame. And like I said, I got a lot of questions, but hopefully we can get some answers today.
Yeah, and I guess one thing I can start with, and it's just something that's been giving me not the good butterflies, not the greatest feelings, but basically it's a situation where I felt last year we had a hard time controlling the match. If someone pressed us hard, if someone decided to rush our team, press us, we would have a tendency to back pass our way to Odie, and Odie to just lob it down the field in any direction he possibly could, and half the time we're losing possession. That was extremely evident today. Bayern Munich is a monster of a club. They are well organized. They're an amazing team. But there was many times in this match where it felt like we could have some kind of control. We get the ball, and we may not find the right passing lane, and we distribute it back to the defense, and they distribute it to Odie. And it just seems like he holds it on a bit too long, or a center back holds on to it a bit too long. And there are some passing lanes he can pass it to, but the choice is just to get it away, just clear it out. I can pass it to Otamendi, I can pass it to Grimaldo, but no, let's just like lob it out there and pray for the best. And most of the time, what happens is Bayern Munich player got the ball and they press again, and they press it some more. But at Estoril, um, um, It's the same thing. It's in a sense that if you start pressuring it, we start making bad passes. And Ishtori is a way weaker side per se. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that was the issue throughout last season, and even under the final time Bruno Lage is just pressure our guys buckle. Pizzi doesn't kind of come back and defend well or put pressure to get the ball back. And I don't know. It's not a good. It's a situation which there is these glaring gaps that we were hoping Georgia should fix, and it really just seems like they're not there. And then yeah, for everyone in the chat, man, Rodrigo, thank you so much for the pressing the like. How are we after another George Juice specials? What Caesar says there. Um, I don't know, man. I'm gonna say one more thing. I'll toss it back to you. I still have this partial holdout because I'm an eternal optimistic kind of individual that we can still advance in this group stage. Yes, we screwed up in the league and we lost our first place standing. We're in third place, but the point gap is so tight that we could still have a really good season. We can advance the knockouts of the Champions League. We still win the Liga Portugal, but my God, does it feel like things are slipping and slipping quick, right? So, how are you feeling about George Juge at this moment?
I think. How do I feel? I don't think. I feel like he's just. I don't know. I think like we've hit a wall with him. I don't think that when I watch this team and I watch the tactics, I always think to myself, JJ, like, is this what you got? Like, is this like, how can we get to the next step? What does he have in his bag of tricks? Like, what does he have, on the felt football pitch that he likes to move around on the sidelines? I just don't see it. I don't know. Like, I don't know what his answer is going to be. He's got another season where he got to fill in a lot of spots, and then he wanted guys like Mete, right? He went out and got like guys like that and Everton, right? These guys that he's leaning on aren't contributing. I seen today a tweet that it's a real eye opener. So not eye opener, but it really doesn't surprise me as far as JJ. He's not a real good identifier of talent. You know what I mean? Like when you have Florentino Luis playing in Spain, and you have a guy like Mete starting for this club who really doesn't provide anything as far as defensively. He's not really, you know what I mean, a threat going forward. I just, I'm like I said, I'm reeling. I feel deflated today as sports wise. So like I said, I'm here with a lot more questions than answers with this team over the last couple weeks, bro. Like it's been like a disconnect. Even watching them feels like it's. I never say this, but like I'm looking at another screen as opposed to watching this team because it's just there's no intensity. I just don't understand what the purpose is of this offense. What are the tactics? Like, is there a game plan that we have? Like, do we go in? Like, do we have any X's and O's or anything like that? Sorry, it's getting dark in here. I gotta get my laptop plugged back in. But is there what's the game plan here? What's the motive? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm fucking stuttering over here. Like, what? But because like I'm reeling as a Benfica fan right now. Like, it's so funny. We thought we had it all figured out. We looked really good, and now we hit a wall. And today is not indicative, like you said earlier. Bayern Munich is the best club in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind, and I know that as a football fan, they're the best in the world. But like you don't expect just that kind of performance, man. Like don't look like a small club. At least have some fucking balls out there a little bit. Like it felt like they went in knowing what we knew. And you're not supposed to do that as professionals.
Yeah, man. And again, the chat's bumping everyone that's joined us. Much appreciated. Obviously, hello to everyone there. I'm going to say a couple things. Yeah, the Florentino thing, part of the challenge I got to say with this team right now, it is sometimes the feeling of what is the direction, what's the objective, and I know I'm kind of going back a few years, but when we had the development at Jetson and Florentino, and we had this potential made in Benfica spine, right, that all of us were excited for, and kind of these guys that were raw talents that we had to fine tune, and they're not the best players in Europe, but they have the potential to be good players. But it felt like we were working towards something. It feels like we lost that. Like I'd rather be working on a Florentino than a Mete at the moment. It just feels more exciting in terms of what we're hearing right now. As Caesar said, what Florentino's doing. Alex sounds like he's in a warehouse with all the steel rebarbs
Sorry about
sticking
that.
around.
I
It's wild.
apologize. I apologize about that.
Yeah, it's all
A
good.
rookie mistake. I had to get the the laptop plugged in. I apologize.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree
it's
with you.
yeah, that's I feel like the identity is still a struggle, and kind of George Jesus's job was to kind of recreate an identity, reestablish kind of the attacking football that Benfica was famous for, and he got a little bit of a pass last year because at the end of the day, yes, we spent a lot of money, but he came into a disjointed squad, a bunch of talent brought in, it was still kind of disjointed. uh, my expectation and every Benfica's expectation was that the Liga and titles and a good showing in Europe, and we got none of that. And it was a very disappointing season. But he still got a passing. Okay, let's give him another go. And he got a more time with this team, and we should be playing better. And there's a comment that Seb said here about we get two against Bayern, which is a great team. Bayern's a good, and we could have got a third goal with that whole offside situation. We'll go into that in a bit, but like we actually put up a really good fight, and unfortunately, we couldn't hold it against a great team. But then against Seville, the fight's not there. And I think part of it is the mentality. Like I don't understand what's going on with the mentality at the pitch with this club, where there's not enough heart and fight to win
I'll
these
tell you.
games.
I'll tell you what it is. Is that I feel I'm a true believer that a team takes a coach's personality. Right? That's what the team is. And I don't think that I don't think that I like Benfica with JJ's personality. Not anymore. You know
Not
what I mean?
not
Like
not this current George. Like if we,
not this guy.
yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
mean. Not this guy. You're cocky when you know you got it. You go in and you talk shit with against these small teams, against big teams, like Cesar De Silva said in the chat. You're a small-minded coach. You look small. You went to not be embarrassed today. Right? I don't care what you say, anyone says about, oh, well, they're just saving. They're just saving their Weigel, and they're saving who else didn't we start? Rafa, so
Yeah,
that we can beat the
I
next
think
team. But we
I think
didn't beat them last time. But we didn't
yeah.
beat them last time. So I don't understand your argument here. I don't not yours. I'm just saying in general. I don't understand that argument. So you
I
don't put your best team on the pitch. I can never understand that. When a manager doesn't put his best team on the pitch in an important game. This is an important game. Like you said, our B teams played pretty good. Our B team subs played pretty well today against Bayern for a little bit.
yeah.
Defensively lacked completely. And we'll get into that. Verissimo looked fucking horrendous today. Terrible.
Yeah.
Maratu looked young. I mean, but I expect that. You know,
How
I
about that?
expect
Do you want
young
me? Do you
moments.
want me to whip out the starting 11, and
Yeah,
then
let's do it. Let's do it.
let's get the video going, and then we'll get into it. All right, for this Champions League match, we had Odysseus in the back of net, Verissimo, Vertonghen, Marat, Gilberto, João Mario, Mete, Grimaldo, Pizzi and Everton on the wings, and Chuck up front. Substitutions: Diogo, Darwin, Rafa, Bernardo, and Rams, and that rounds out Benfica's starting 11 and subs for today. And we'll break it down shortly. So that was our starting 11. I'll quickly put it here up on the screen for everyone to be able to see it. On a side note, I am a Canadian Premier League fan, and my Forge FC are about to go to the semifinals of the CONCACAF League. So I got some positivity going on the home front, domestic front. These guys were down 3-1 when they played away in CONCACAF, and they're right now winning 3-0, which is a minute of extra time, I think, remaining. So freaking outstanding. I got something to celebrate. I needed something here. Poor old man Mario needs something to be happy about. But here's our 11 as we see on the screen. And as Alex was kind of pointing out, the mentality to go in with Mete, Maratu, and I don't want to put these guys down with Pizzi.
And Maratu played very well. Like I said, don't get me wrong.
Played extremely well.
Played great.
And the
And got a goal.
Yeah, and the commentator that I was watching said, clearly Benfica understands that Bayern Munich is going to win this match. They're likely just resting players. They got players on cards. The Barcelona game is obviously more critical to them to retain some hope of advancing. Therefore, it's kind of they're already talking as if we we gave up. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
was, and it's kind of the reality. I think a lot of people, the probability wasn't good, right? So, and the probability of losing a key player was likely. So,
I'm glad you posted that
yeah,
comment because I was, yeah.
yeah, that is perfect. Like, but I think
I agree. I
it's
understand.
it's it's,
I
it's the
don't.
right
I
call.
agree to a extent. I understand his point. It was very well said. You know what I mean? But man, but look, I'm going off of the game. Our last five. Go just our last 5 games. You know what I mean? It does seem like we're missing something. And then you start this team. Like every time I see PZ in the lineup now, and it sucks, man. But I know what I'm gonna get, and it's not good. So it was just a little deflating going into the game. And you never want to feel like that, man. You never want to feel that way where you feel like, well, fuck it, we're gonna lose anyways. You know what I mean? I just don't have that mentality. I mean, and not as a fan. You know what I mean? And not as a fan, anyways. It just sucks. It sucks.
But I gotta say, man, the first 10 minutes, the first bit of the match, this was a fun match, man.
Oh yeah,
We actually early on had some great chances. It's again bad luck on the not finishing. You have very limited opportunities to score against a team like Bayern Munich. You got to really capitalize on those few opportunities, and we had those. Like early on, we really did have it. And for the first while of this game, it was back and forth. Even until friggin' Bayern Munich scored on the 26th minute for their first goal. Yes, Bayern Munich had us on the back foot, but when we came out, we looked dangerous. We were creating opportunities. They're playing at home. They're the better side. They're a top world-class team, but we brought a fight, and the fight was actually quite entertaining. And it was unfortunate when we went one down, but I still had a little bit of that belief. And I think that's the problem is that sometimes you have these games where, man, you know what? I think maybe
always.
I think we can do it, man. And you're feeling the confidence is kind of building. As the confidence is building and you're enjoying the match, then they make it 2-0. You're like, ah, shit, man, this sucks. But right afterwards, Moratu with the header, you see the kid get a goal. It's so cool to see, one of these younger guys pop a goal in, and you're kind of like, oh man, maybe we could do it, man. That belief is there. And then there's the penalty, and you're like, ah, shit. And then Odie saves the penalty. Lewandowski has one heck of a shitty shot for a PK. And halftime ends 2-1. And you're looking at, you can go back to the Pizzi situation where maybe it could have been not offside, yada, yada, yada. But let's just say it's offside. It's just the fact that we are creating dangerous opportunities in that first half. And you kind of go into that halftime losing 2-1, saying, man, we could have actually been winning this, or maybe we could have been tied. But, we got to fight this. And it kind of felt good. It felt
Yeah.
like it's a tough team, but it felt good, right? To a certain
You know
extent.
what's deflating, I guess, too, is you're right about all of that. Looking at it in a positive way, right? You're right. 2-1. Moratu scores a goal. You never know, right? You never know. But watching that team and when you see the quality of like the chances that Bayern were getting, like it was only a matter of time before the game got out of hand. And that's what was really frustrating me. I mean, the second goal by Nabry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Like that shit hurts, bro. Like when motherfuckers is flicking goals like behind their back, like come on, like that shit hurts. Like that is
Oh,
that is
their passes. I gotta say, Bayern Munich, just these little flicks of the ball and the ball control. It's
yeah,
insane.
this
Like
shit's top notch, bro. This shit's
it,
top notch, and you're right. That's why I don't want to be so hard, but man, that shit sucks losing like that, bro. You know what I mean? You're right. It's the quality when you play a team like Bayern, they make you look at your team like, damn, bro. Like
and you
I need
kind
to
of
get
go.
some new shoes or something. I need to go get a new shirt because I ain't looking good out
Well,
here. You know what I mean?
it's boys against men, right? Boy, it's just
Right,
it's like it's rough.
right.
In that
Yeah,
first half, like if you break down, okay, so overall stats was okay. Bayern Munich clearly had the possession of 65% to our 35, 24 shots to our 7, but that's the overall. After that first half happens, Bayern more possession. They got 10 shots, we got 5 shots. They are the better side, but we are in this fight. This second half, we only had 2 shots. They had 14.
yeah,
Though
yeah.
that second half, they got on us hard. And I can't remember if this was in the first or the second. So, people can correct me, but there was a point where there's a long ball and Pizzi had it. There's 2
And
guys
they
on him.
outran him. Yeah, that
And,
was
and, and Davies is a beast. I'm going to have the Canadian bias, but he started running. But there's a difference between you getting the long ball and you having it's a breakaway and trying to go and get caught up. Pizzi actually stopped with the ball.
Stopped.
He stopped and tried to look for
Yeah.
someone and allowed
Yeah.
Davies come in, and it's
Yeah.
part of to kind
That's
of
a
go to
classic FIFA 22 pass, bro.
yeah,
Keep it going.
keep it
Go
running.
forward. You got a
Yeah,
video game pass and you stopped.
and he stopped, and this is kind of Pizzi's situation. So I feel he's nowhere near his prime. At his prime, he was not a world stopper, but he was a good player, but not an amazing player. And his decision making was poor on that. He wasn't tracking back well. He wasn't.
Oh, I think he's. I think I lost Mario there. Something must have happened to his Canadian internet. But what are you gonna do? We're still running live. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go to the chat real quick while we're waiting for him to get there. I agree, Carlos. Their runs are crazy, crazy. There he goes.
Yeah, my thing. The thing with the thing. I flicked my cord.
Don't be flicking cords, bro. Uh, go. I went to the chat real quick, and yeah, Carlos, the way they time their runs, it's crazy. It does make you feel like it's like you never could be prepared for a team like that. You know what I mean, Mario? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, unless I think you know what it is too. Yes, I see quality, but I also see like 50 million here, 60 million there, 70 million there, 100 million there. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching a team that's like, how do you get on? How can you be mad? You know what I mean? That you weren't humiliated even more. You didn't give up 8 goals.
Oh my God,
You know what I mean?
Brian Minnick has the potential to make a
But
10-0 thing.
I hate that feeling. And Grimaldo was terrible. Oh, I'm so glad he brought that up. Because oh my God, I know Coleman is a beast of a player. He could play multiple positions. He can give you so much. He's so good. But holy shit, sometimes when I watch Grimaldo play guys like that, I realize how one-dimensional Grimaldo really is, bro. And I don't even know what that dimension is, but I know he's got one of them. Right?
There was a moment. I'm sorry to cut you off, but because you're talking about the fullback.
Good. You're good.
There's this moment that flashed in my head, and it kind of like it was in the first half. You know who I thought had a decent game? Gilberto.
Yes. Yep. I ain't gonna be mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. And in the first half, when we were still in it, that first half we were still in the dogfight. Gilberto wanted it. And there was a moment where he had the ball and he went to look, and Pizzi was not getting it, like he wasn't moving, and the ball got lost. And Gilberto, and I remember the camera. I should have recorded this to my phone because I got the thing. I can replay it. I should have got that. But Gilberto got so fucking pissed, and the camera was there, and you can hear it. He's like, "Filho de puta!" And he snapped. He started yelling. And George Jesus was there, Gilberto's there, and he was looking at Pizzi like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's pretty much it. And after that, they were swapped because it was Pizzi and Gilberto on the same sides, and all of a sudden Pizzi went to the other side of the pitch, and Everton came here. And it's kind of, I don't know if that was George Jesus' call, if that was Pizzi's call, or what it was, but it was like, oh, I gotta, clearly this guy's getting annoyed with Pizzi. Let me send Pizzi away, and he was trying, man. It was, I don't know, man. This is why I feel
what I
bad.
like about him.
Yeah.
You know what I like about Gilberto? Why he played? I think he plays good. And it's weird. He plays good against big teams like this because he dribbles with confidence. You know what I mean? Like when you play a team like this, you got to dribble with some confidence, man. You can't just assume that you're going to lose the ball on contact. And that's why you see this, that like, it's not really like, I don't know. It's scared dribbling. It's like, they're not really, they don't want the ball. You know what I mean? They want to get rid of the ball as soon as they get it. You know what I mean? That's how it feels anyways. But when Gilberto plays like that, like he'll take the ball and he'll dribble. You know what I mean? He'll take the space that's in front of him. And we give him shit all the time, but I think I've changed my mind a lot about this guy. Really, I have. I don't mind it so much when I see him in the lineup anymore. I really don't. Like I know what he's gonna give us.
I think the one thing I appreciate today in that moment and when I saw it is the hunger. You can lose, right? You can lose, but it is the drive and the hunger and to kind of pick. I feel bad that we're like going so hard on Pizzi, but really it's the lack of hunger, right? And I think Gilberto has a certain level of hunger to try to perform, to do something special, to do something great with Benfica, And even if he doesn't do something great with Benfica, at least earn his stripes and move on to even better and bigger things. Whereas Pizzi's kind of tapped out. Like he is never going to move to anything bigger. Like I think it's all downhill from here for Pizzi's career.
But
Like
you would, but you would think like you don't get a lot of minutes. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then you come in and you don't hustle like that. Like I don't have time. I don't think this team can afford players like this anymore. And you know what? To be honest, after that whole shit, like with Bruno Lage and the whole team quitting and shit, like that guy should have been gone a long time ago. Like
yeah.
just on principle. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're a cancer to this team. You know what I mean? Like honestly, you had you and your buddies, your cronies. You know what I mean? Like I mean, honestly, I love Rafa, but if I was in charge at the time, I'd have looked for a way to get all of them out of there because that's not the kind of people you want in your locker room. That shit's infectious. There's a reason why, like, this team looks the same over all these coaches. Nothing has changed over this from Rui Vitoria to Bruno Lage to JJ. Nothing has changed as far as tactics go. Crosses are terrible. We don't set piece. We don't defend corners. You know what I mean? What is the problem? And I don't want to just blame these three guys, but it's like
No, but
it's
I think
this
I
it's like we're psychotic. Our
there's a
mentality.
mentality. Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucked. It's like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? We're literally insane. We do the same shit all the time, and they're not insane. They're Benfica. We're the ones that are insane, right? Because we expect a different result, and we don't see really nothing
Yeah.
happening. I mean, I get it. Like, look, I said, you go back. I get we lost to Bayern Munich, and that's fine. But we haven't been here since Guimarães. We haven't been here since Vizela. So this isn't just about today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this has to do with the last three performances and how this this team has been terrible. Like this team has honestly been terrible.
The comment here on the chat for Cynthia, back then when it was MVP Pizzi, when it was Bruno Fernandes versus Pizzi, who's the MVP in this league, there was a certain level of hunger, a certain level of appetite, a certain level of fight in Pizzi, a certain level of fight in Rafa. There was a certain level of fight in the team. That died a couple years ago, and now it's like I get my paycheck, I could care less. I know I'm not going to go on to anything bigger, and it's unfortunate. Rafa, I kind of feel like at least I feel Rafa's never been a leader. I feel there's a bit more hustle in the kid, but he's not the guy that's going to be your leader kind of player. But in a sense, when you kind of look at some of these guys, maybe we do need to clean a little bit of house, but we need a bit more of that fight. I think Otamendi's got that fight. I think Gilberto has that fight. I think some of these guys are not the best players in the world, but they are. You need to have first that hunger. Like I look at, and I hate to do this analogy of Porto because they drive me nuts, but part of Porto's success when they've had shitty teams is they have a certain level of fight and hunger. They're going to go and die on the pitch and get the results. And they've done well in Europe and they've done well domestically over the last few years because of this little bit of hunger and fight. And I feel like that's what's missing. I sometimes feel like our guys feel a bit too entitled. And that does bug me, right? It does bug me where
Because,
it's
like I
like,
said, look at our managers, bro. Like all our managers are with these guys, the arm folders, the arm
and
crossers.
George is
You know
usually
what I
supposed to
mean?
be
I don't got
different, and
time for
he's
any
lost
more
that.
arm
Yeah,
fucking crossers, bro. I mean, yeah, JJ goes crazy every now and then, but that shit's just a show by now. Like that's just what you expect from him now. You know what I mean? Like that shit doesn't tell me like, oh, we're good because JJ's fucking going crazy on the sideline. No, you know what I mean. It's just his theatrics. It's just theatrics by now, and we've taken the personality of all of our managers as of late. We're too and we're never satisfied. But our ties tied too tight, right? And then Bruno Lage is too relaxed, right? And then you give up on a guy like that because he's not got any fire. But now look at him. Anyways, so and then you get JJ back. I mean, who burned you, right? Like who burned you in the beginning? Not really. I guess you go back.
no,
It is a
no, 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 no,
contract.
no, no.
I mean, like
But
fuck.
he left, and he left in a disrespectful way. He talked shit about the team, talked shit about the people that work there, and now he comes back, and it's just and the maybe this point of like we overhype these guys with the championship titles that they've won before, and we appreciate what you've done before. But it's like the Seinfeld reference. I don't know if Mello remembers the Seinfeld reference, but where George Costanza wants to get fired from the Yankees, so he takes the fucking pennant they just won, attaches it to the back of the car, and does donuts in the parking lot dragging the pennant, and instead of getting fired, Steinbrenner, the guy who runs the Yankees, comes out. That's the attitude. Forget about the title we just won. Let's throw all those titles in the trash. All we care about is a new title. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and sometimes we rest on our laurels. We rest on the fact that we've won all this stuff. We got some players that are not 110% committed. I think Georges Jesus is trying. I do think he's trying to push, but at the same time, when they're part of the blame, I think falls on him in the sense that when you have guys like Pizzi that don't have to fight, the old Georges Jesus benched Capdevila. The old Georges Jesus had Nolito, which was kicking ass, and he benched him. Old Georges Jesus had Cardozo, the best striker in the history of Benfica as a foreign player. That's not outside of Eusebio, outside of the Portuguese, the better than Jonas. I don't care what anyone says. Cardozo was the man, and Cardozo gave some attitude. He kicked Cardozo out of the club. Georges Jesus owned that team at his peak. He doesn't own this team. Like Pizzi doesn't have the heart. And you can tell he's frustrated, and he's even shifts Pizzi away from Gilberto, but he'll go and give Pizzi some more minutes. He doesn't seem to have the fight left in him to kind of say, I'm fucking tired fighting with these kids. Okay, you go play. I don't care. I just don't fucking care. You go do your thing. And he gets upset. He still has moments where he gets angry, but I think I don't know. It kind of just feels like that fire, right?
I agree. And Carlos, I agree with that. I do too. Rafa too. But at the same time, because he's a threat, right? So like production, stats, you do things you forget, you get forgot. You know what I mean? I'll forgive you, right? I'll do. Out of those three guys, he's the only one. He's the only one that's been doing anything. And like I said, this isn't just about today. You know what I mean? Like I we haven't done a show since Vizela. You know what I mean? But even before that,
it's like an accumulation of these performances. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Even before that, you lose to Bayern Munich 4-0. You don't impress against the France. You lose to Portimonense. Like, you're already like something. If it's not on Jesus, then it's on the players. And then that's the players that he brought in. There's a couple players who are non-factors. Is that all his fault? No. Sometimes you see a guy play in another league. Everton, for example, he's this, he's supposed to be this wonder dude. I wouldn't call him a kid, but this wonder dude, right? He's supposed to come in. He's supposed to be great. No, he's not. He's not. Who picked him?
I gotta say,
who was it? Whose decision was it to get rid of Florentino, to get rid of guys like Jota, the future of this club, and bring in guys that are not going to be here in 2 years? Guys are not going to contribute to, this team in a couple years. Right. But guys like Jota, guys like Florentino, those guys could, potentially. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with like being that team that's got a lot of young guys that are just trying to figure it out. Like I've said, we got a lot of championships. 36. 36, 37, 38. Let's keep, we can keep going.
Yeah.
But where's the future of the club? You know what I mean? And when I look at the team, sometimes I see João Mario. Yeah, he's a good player, but and he's I guess what he's not even that old, to be honest. But on a what, he's like on a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. Like, what about next year?
I think it's a 2 or 3 year deal. The honest truth that sucks is that George Jesus has a 2-year contract. He got Jan Vertonghen and Otamendi. He seeked out players that were plugs to try to pull something off last year, pull something off this year. This club is going to have a serious situation in 2 years from now because Jan Vertonghen and Otamendi in 2 years from now might struggle to still be around. João Mario's contract
they're going to struggle by the end of the season.
Yeah. So there is truly a challenge right now. And again, it feels disjointed. So it's this weird crossroad that if we go ahead and go to Camp Nou, we get the result against Barcelona, we get a couple of good wins right now, we're going to feel good. But if the opposite thing happens, because at the same time, we got extremely challenging matches. So we got Braga coming up, right? So if all of a sudden we're feeling kind of like, okay, Benfica, they're at a crossroads. Yes, they screwed up, but now they're kind of sitting in a situation where domestically they've now lost the top spot. They're in a third spot, but it's only a 1 point difference. But what if also we screw up against Braga? And then all of a sudden the gap difference gets even wider. And Braga now is only 2 points away from catching us. And if we screw up against Barcelona, which we can, it's friggin', I'll say this much, Barcelona, if you look at their current situation and you kind of go and see their situation at the moment, Barcelona have won 5 out of 9 home games. They have dropped points against smaller sides with smaller budgets than Benfica at home. The expectation for Benfica is to go bare minimum, get the draw, because lesser teams have done that. Lesser teams have gotten wins at Barcelona this year. So we can do it. But if we go to Barcelona and they are extremely tricky as a team, they still have tons of talent and they can still get the win. All of a sudden, we're not making it to the Champions League. All of a sudden, friggin' Braga gets the best of us, and we're kind of feeling lost. And so it's this. We are in a the month of November has now become the most dicey month where we have Braga this weekend. We got Pacho Ferreira and Taça Portugal. And Pacho Ferreira are putting up one heck of a fight. There's Estegaio and other guys on there that are good
I mean,
players.
Estriel's still going to be there. They played us very well. They're still,
Yeah,
top 4 in the league,
yeah,
top
we got
5. Oh, Braga won. That's right. So
exactly, and then we got friggin' after Barcelona, yes, be sad. We can go and maybe beat them easily. But then you got Sporting, and Sporting is a derby. It's a Clasico, and anything can happen in a Clasico. And you could have a situation that come December, as we kind of round out and end this Champions League campaign, we're going to knock out this Champions League. We're back fighting for first place because we get the wins against Braga, wins against Sporting. Or we're out of the Champions League, we lose to Braga, lose to Sporting, and the friggin' thing is burning like a dumpster fire, right? It just feels, and it feels preventable because we could have beat Kiev in the first game. We could have beat Estoril. We could have beat Portimonense. We could have had a situation where we had the buffer and we've lost the buffers and put ourselves in this dicey predicament. So it's very self-inflicted at the moment, right? And I don't know, man. And I kind of look at for Rafa, just to kind of answer this question. I think at his age, I think the speed is not going to get better. Rafa's biggest thing is he had fast speed. Decision making at times wasn't the best. I think he would have done like when he had that breakaway for Pizzi this in the first half of this game where he stopped with the ball. If that was Rafa, he would have got. I think Rafa's a better player than Pizzi.
Oh, for sure.
I just think that
no.
Pizzi's tapered off. I think Rafa's getting close. I don't think Rafa's going to be going. I think he'll go maybe a lateral move. He can go to a Sevilla or a team like that in La Liga or something. But I don't think he's going to move up anywhere else. I think he's peaked out.
Yeah.
And I think that's we have this weird crossroad of players where it's kind of like before in the past when you had guys like that were a bit older, but established guys in their late 20s. When Luis Zell was in their late 20s, when you had other guys on the team that were like think of Salvio, right? And other players that were, you know what, these guys are likely not going to go into anything bigger. They stay at Benfica, and I'm okay keeping these guys at Benfica for the next couple of years. And you had like a core group of players that you believed in, and you want to try to sign some better younger players and some good transfers and make it go at it. Now what we do is we got a core of older players that have a few years left in them that we really don't want. Really don't want Pizzi around here. We're kind of getting tired of Rafa. We like him, but he's, not the greatest of feelings. So some of the core older players that are longer term players, the fans aren't too keen on. Guys like Otamendi we like, but he's really old. Same with Vertonghen.
He's not life old, but he's soccer, soccer old.
And then you got like the young kids, but it feels disjointed, right? It feels like some of these young kids, like Jetson's looking for a transfer out. Florentino, if you don't believe me, you don't want to play me, I'll go do my trade elsewhere. So it looks like some of the young guys want out. So it just doesn't feel like a nice atmosphere, and it's unfortunate because it's very tough for sorcerers right now, man. This is very tough.
Yeah, and Cynthia commented in the chat, "Is it do or die already?" It's not that it's not that it's like it's do or die already, but like you win this league by beating the small teams. I mean, you don't win this league usually by beating Sporting or Porto, right? That's really not how you win the league. Dropping points to Portimonense, that shit stings. Dropping points to Estoril, like because you kept them around because you didn't get the killer mentality. And that's another thing I would do. I do want to back JJ up a little bit. Like JJ can't be responsible for all these guys not producing, right? Chuck has not done a damn thing since he has been atrocious. Darwin today he comes in and scores a goal, but before that, his starts and his minutes have been lackluster. Nobody is really stepping up on this team. And that's one thing I can't blame JJ for everything, right? I mean, JJ can't make a motherfucker get up. I mean, if you don't want, if you don't got it or you're struggling, a coach isn't always going to be able to snap a guy out of that. Maybe there's a couple guys on the team that he's turned into, a good player or two, but they ain't going to work for everybody, right? And Chuck came in with a lot of hype, and I'm not like saying I'm giving up on the guy or anything like that. That's craziness. All I'm saying is we have got a lot of guys that aren't simply producing. And I don't know if they're just not responding to who it is. JJ, maybe they don't like each other. I don't know what's going on because they look happy when they score goals, right? They look amazing, like they all love each other when they score goals, but when they trying to pass the ball, make plays, it says there's something missing. It's a disconnect. And
So
I seen the chat earlier. I'm sorry.
yeah.
After this, I seen comment in the chat earlier. You got to do something in January. You know what I mean? One guy here, and I don't know, this is a pipe dream, but Rainer Jesus from Dortmund is what I hear would be an amazing add to this team. With a loan with the option to buy. That's the rumor. I mean, JJ likes his Brazilians, and I think that's a guy that's the kind of guy you go out and get. And why didn't Nemanja play? Why didn't this guy he
That guy
shows
looks so good.
flashes. He
He
looks
looks interesting,
really
man.
good. Why didn't he
Yeah.
get some play today? I mean, there's a lot of questions. But the one thing I said I can't blame JJ for is some of these guys' performance. I mean, shit, he can't score. He could tell you how to score. He could tell you how to get into position, where to be, where the ball should be. But you got to pull the trigger, man. You know what I mean? JJ can't pull the trigger for you.
So here's the one thing, and I know I just touched on this earlier about, and it's a worrying trend that we have. So we talked about today where Benfica first half tough fight, Bayern Munich clearly a better side, but we put up a fight, and then how the second half we completely tapered off. No more shots. Like our shot production dropped like a rock. That's Bayern Munich. But if we go back the last few games against Guimarães, the first half against Guimarães, we had a certain number of shots, we had more possession. In the second half, the number of shots dropped off against Estoril. First half we had like 9 shots. Second half we had 6. Like, there is a tendency in recent games to taper off. It is a trend that gets a little concerning that you're seeing in recent games, that we don't have the fight in us to go the full 90 or keep that same intensity. And more worrying is when you look at the striker situation, it doesn't feel like we still have an established, like you said, Chuck looked great when he came on. He's tapered off. Darwin had a moment where he was like, oh man, and maybe Darwin was finding his feet, man. We talked a little trash about Darwin last year, but he's proving himself, and he kind of tapered off. I like the goal he did today. I like the fight he showed today, but it doesn't seem like, do I think Darwin's going to start the next game? Probably not. Rams, I like the kid. I think he has potential, but is he going to start? Like, I just feel like when you have your striker that goes up, there used to be a point in time, and I know we were spoiled with Cardozo, but then outside of Cardozo, you had Lima. Outside of Jonas, you had Mitroglou. There was periods and times where you go, you know what, fine. If the main guy's not playing, or we got other guys we can pull on.
Yeah, we've been terrible at that position.
It is not, and part of me goes back to me being an old man, being an old dinosaur. I don't like this formation, man. I'm getting tired of the 3-4, the 3-3.
I hate it
3-4-3.
I hate it too.
I hate it because
I'm done with it.
What happens against Bayern Munich is you got 3 center backs, 2 full backs, and basically you're playing with 5 in the back is what it feels like. And then you got 2 midfielders, and João Mario is a nice midfielder in the midfield, but he's not like an aggressive attacking mid either when he's there, right? And then you look at kind of just a single individual striker, lone man, Wolf up there. It's easier to mark him. I liked it when we had 2 strikers, man. I like the fact that when we had a couple of guys just, if you're going to mark Cardozo, if you're going to mark Chuck, you got Darwin to watch out for, right? And we tried the Darwin but when we have Darwin as like that winger position, secondary striker, if you have 2 strikers and you have Everton or Rafa there and Darwin and Chuck in the middle, they're going to pull a guy. They're going to give space to the strikers. And against our Liga NOS, it just works way better.
Yeah, I brother, that's why I love you, Mario, because I agree completely with you. I'm a 4-4-2 guy. You know what I mean? Like in real life, I'm a 4-4-2 guy. You know what I mean? Like that's how I want to see it. I want my strikers to stay in the box, because even when you play with 2 strikers, Darwin's always getting balls out on the wings. Like we need to spread this team out a little bit more. We need to keep in my mind, we need to keep our strikers a little bit more central to create targets. I mean, these guys are. I mean, how tall is Chuck? 6'5", 6'6". Maybe I'm being a little extra, but at least 6'4", right? At least, right? Darwin, how tall is Darwin? About the same height, right? Like these guys are big guys. Like they should get lots of service. You should be creating lots of opportunities for these guys inside the box, not on the wings. You know what I mean? I love what Darwin did against Barcelona, but I saw him try to do that again. You know, it's not gonna work every time. I just saw him try to do that same move. I think it was against Estoril. The same move. And I get it. That's your go-to. That's your trick move. But brother, he's not a wing player. I don't want him playing with that vision. I don't want him coming that way. I want the motherfucker to, all right, 6'1". Fine. That's still tall as fuck to me.
That's actually what I was looking
Sheesh.
up right now. Is uh, Darwin is 6'1", and Chuck is I think 6'2", or just he's six. I don't know. He's a little bit. Chuck's just a little bit taller. He's just shy of 6'2", but they're still tall strikers,
It's
still big
still
men.
tall, man.
They're
Yeah, I'm
tall,
saying
and,
I'm
and
being
their body
extra on it, but
and their bodies in the box. And I think I go back to kind of that traditional 4-4-2. You need a solid defensive mid, which I think we can have that in Weigl. I think Mete has potential. I do think I miss Florentino, but I think
yo,
there's
if I want potential, I want Florentino. You know what I
yes,
mean?
exactly.
If that's the word.
I feel the attacking mid. Like I don't know, man. I just kind of go and I
Chuck is
look at it.
6'3".
60. There we go, man. He's a beast.
So I wasn't being too. I wasn't. You know what I mean? I said no, yeah, at least 6'4". I mean that ain't. I
Yeah,
mean, depending on what
but
liquor store he's walking out
yeah.
of, right?
But like at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he it's just I don't know. I just don't like the setup. I feel we could do better, and I get it. People talk about the game's got to modernize, yada yada yada. I just got to say, fine, you got to modernize. Just if you're gonna modernize in something better than something worse. And I don't
but
feel like this
modernize
is
towards the strength of your players. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Modernize to the strength of your players. That's what the problem was with what's the remember we had that curly haired German. What's this guy's name? Waldschmidt.
Walshman.
Waldschmidt. Always out of position, always never in a good spot. I mean, when he was in the position he's supposed to be in, the guy gave goals, like he scored goals. You give up goals, but it's kind of frustrating. You haven't hit on a striker in a while. I mean, fuck. Do you want to go down the list? That's like having a football team, American football team, and having a starting quarterback every other year. You got a new starting, you know what I mean? Within the last 5 years, you have a list of 12 guys who played quarterback for you. That's how it is in soccer and football to me. You know what I mean? That those guys are the quarterback. And I mean, not the quarterbacks, but they get all the love like the quarterback does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get all the love. They score the goals. You know, women love the long ball, as they say in baseball. You know what I mean? They gotta be put in positions. I just in my mind they're more centralized strikers. Keep them out there. Let your wings take over. Let Rafa run. Let
Yeah.
Everton run. Let these motherfuckers run. And then you give rest. And you've been saying this. You've been saying this from the last fucking from forever. You play 4-4-2. You give rest to Otamendi,
Randy.
or you give rest to Vertonghen, or you give
You
rest to
rotate.
Vinicius,
You
or you
rotate.
give rest. Right, exactly. But these guys, and I seen it earlier. I think Carlos said it. Exhaustion. When you don't have a healthy rotation because you're playing in a position that you ain't supposed to be, it wears on these guys. It wears on these dudes. If Mitroglou is available for a striker coach or some, I'd rather have him as my manager than have him on the pitch right now. But we always go back to that. That's why it's so crazy, because we always go back to those guys, the Mitroglous, the Jonases, right? Like we haven't got that kind of production out of that position in a long time, man. And that
Yeah.
shit,
And I
it's
think
frustrating.
it goes back to ever since we started goofing off with the idea of going from two strikers to one striker.
It's a stupid idea.
Ever since we did that, and we did it a little bit under Rui Vitória at the tail end, his final season, where Rui Vitória did good. Things went off the wheels when he went to the one striker format. Then Bruno Lage came in, brought in almost a two striker format, and he then went back to one striker. But he was kind of, and we were able to kind of do it for a little bit before that went off. And George Jesus just kind of struggled with this formation. Is because at the end of the day, and I'm not saying Bayern Munich, I'm ignoring Bayern Munich. I'm talking about these Liga NOS sides. You got to bring it to them. Bayern Munich, I will say this: there's lessons you can take from this club. It does not matter. This is the Champions League. They went in hard against us. But when I watch Bundesliga clips and I watch some matches of Bayern Munich, they're playing a relegation division side in the Bundesliga. They got their friggin' foot on their throat. They every single match
They
for
lost
90.
5-0 2 weeks ago.
They did. They actually did. They screwed up bad on that one. That was wild. That was wild. I remember watching that. I was like, "There's some hope." I got excited.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
But they do on average. I think they're up like 30 some odd goals in the last number of games. Like
It's fucking crazy.
They just doesn't matter who it is. They go and they play the 90. They play the full 90. And I think it's just a mentality that's ingrained in all the players. You play for this club. This is the mentality you need to have. And Benfica was no difference. You play for Benfica. You have a killer instinct. You got to push for it. It doesn't matter. We're the biggest club in Portugal. You should be steamrolling these teams, and you better go out and show some respect when you play in Europe and put up a good fight. And at the end of the day, it's quite tough. And it's like I said, Grimaldo today, I actually didn't mind him too much.
We didn't hate on him too much. I don't think, did we? I mean, he was on skates. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, Coleman had his ass on skate. I thought it was Disney on Ice out there. I thought this little motherfucker.
By the end, that final goal we conceded, man. Oh, his poor
Mario,
ankles, man.
26 minutes in, he already got broke off twice with the same exact move. And I'm not hating. That's fact. Like, we could go. That second goal was because he's doing spins on the ice. Like, he's whipping his head. Like, shit was crazy. Like I said, I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's too much hate for him. I mean, he's definitely not the player of the match, though. I'll tell you that right now.
I agree. I actually thought about, do you want to switch it up, player of the match?
Let's do it. Yeah, fuck. I'll try to. I'll try to find one.
All right, man. You know the name of the game should release the match, player of the match, and play of the match. We didn't get to do too many of these in October. We missed a few games, so we had lots of chorizos kicking out. We let them out on the countertop. Wow. The chorizo went bad, but in focusing on today, other chorizo. For me, I'm gonna give it to Pizzi for the various reasons we kind of ranted about. I just felt his decision making was not the greatest this game. I felt that, you know, Gilberto was giving him good support behind him. It wasn't working out, so he ran away to the left side of the pitch, and it wasn't working well with Grimaldo. He had good opportunities to do something, and he just couldn't capitalize. And I feel bad because he could have got a goal, right? He could have actually done well. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but at the end of the day, it wasn't his day. So I'm kind of giving the chorizo to him. On the other end, I'm giving the player of the match to me, Murat, because when I saw the lineup and I saw Murat on the lineup, I wasn't excited to see Murat. I was like, my God, George Jesus is banking for the Barca game. I fully understand. I understand what he's doing. I get what you're doing. You're playing. You're like, screw it. We're going to lose these guys anyways. Here you go, kid. Have fun. And the kid showed up good, man. He did a couple good plays on the defensive side. It was cool.
He'll be gone next year. They'll want Bayern will come knocking for him next year. He'll be top player.
Yeah, I hope not. But the reality is, he had a pretty decent game. You kind of look at his pass accuracy was decent. He for a young guy, high pressure, shitty situation, he put up the good fights. I'll give it to him. And my play of the match to me, you know what? I'm going to give it actually to Darwin's goal just because of the, you don't get to a frung on the Germans very often with Neuer. With that goal that kind of came in, he kind of came in with some pep. I still kind of. He's leaving me some hope, man. I know there's some false hopes out there, but Darwin's leaving me some hope that maybe this guy, maybe there's something. He's young. He's still kind of raw. He's not perfect. I wish he could do better, but I kind of feel like there's something we can work with him. You know what I mean? So he's leaving me with some kind of hope on that side. But yeah, we got this like sound going. But yeah. All right, man. So let's get your take, man. I'm just going through the chat here, seeing what some people are saying on their side.
I'm going to give I'm going to start with the player of the match for me. I'm going to give it to Godberto. To me, just the hustle that he showed today. I mean, he don't get this award too many times. We go back on the books.
That's a good shot. Also, like I was tossing between him and Morata, but that's a good shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna give. This is how I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna give the player of the match to Godberto. And I'm going to give the play of the match to Morata because at that moment, it felt like we was back in it, like you said
Yeah.
earlier. And you know what? Looking at it, we've been dragging, and we just it's been a tough sports day for me, just in general. And I was really sucked in. I had to watch that shit. It really sucked the life out of me today. Like I had no life whatsoever. But Godberto, believe. You got to believe.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it to Moratu because like I did believe. I always do. I never go into a game thinking we don't have a chance. I never think that we're gonna lose. I never say that. I've never said before a game that Benfica's gonna lose today. Not in the history of my life have I ever said that. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So when you lose like that, the back heel, the flick goal, like that shit stings. You know what I mean? Like you're lucky I'm not giving it to Odie. But that would be a gag, right? If I was giving to Sharice to Odie. But player of the match, Godberto, play of the match, and Moratu, and my Sharice of the match. Oh man, it's I could pick a couple of people
Yeah,
really,
lots of people
but
pick from on that side.
yeah, I think I'm going to give it to I'm gonna give it to Peasy. Yeah, I think it's too easy. You know what? No, I'm gonna give it to Lucas Verissimo. Lucas Verissimo was ass
Yeah, that's not a
today.
bad one.
He was
Yeah.
absolute ass today. He gave up the first. I think the first goal you could have blamed him for it, and then he gives up that penalty. Yeah, it's a little close. It's a little close,
Yeah.
but you can't be jabbing toes, bro. You can't jab toes. That's a penalty every time. I mean, and
Oh, the
it is
handball
what it
also.
is. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Lucas Verissimo has to, and the handball. Exactly. Lucas Verissimo had a terrible game. And you know what that is too? That may be also exhaustion, right? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? The guy just played like shit today. And we have to do something. You can't keep doing this shit. Like you can't keep playing the same. This formation has to go, man. I'm tired of it. And if it's not, yeah, no, Santos, I believe you. Rodrigo, I understand. Peasy was way worse. I could completely agree. But I trying to
Switch it
switch
up.
it up.
Switch it up. Switch it up.
Switch
That's
it
all.
up. Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. Everybody gets some. Everybody can have some Sharice today. Everybody.
I agree on the Gilberto for a player kind of thing. I'm agreeing with that, but I like the Morata one. I like your play. And I think Pizzi, like you said, there's a lot of Sharice there. There's a lot of Sharice that can be handed over to
There's a lot of Sharice for both. Yeah.
There's some Sharice that can go to Everton because, again, he keeps not delivering. But I'll say Odysseus. Let me say this. When people say if we go to the transfer market this January and get something, I'm going to be disrespectful. Odie had some amazing saves today. Amazing saves. And he had god awful, horrifically bad distribution, man. This
he got
guy
chipped twice, though. Motherfucker got chipped twice.
Yeah, he got chipped twice. And I look at, and this is the thing: is he the goalkeeper that is at the level for this club? Does he add more problems than good? And those balls that he was like, we back pass. He'd get the ball. He'd have time. He'd literally have time to think. And you'd see there's a couple of moments where I saw Grimaldo, or I saw Moratu, or I saw Gilberto. And what happens is he gets the ball, and on either fullback, the players move to his side, giving him a passing lane. And then there's the players in front of him for passing lanes.
Goalkeep 101.
And the Bayern Munich players would do what they're supposed to, which is they rush the keeper. And instead of going, I'm going to pick the player that I can pass to in front of me or to the side, I'm going to long ball it every goddamn time. And he, I think, statistically speaking,
who's winning that ball?
It worked out that of all of Odie's distributions, only 6 out of 10 I ever found a Benfica player. And that counts the close end passes, the pass to the right, the pass to the center back. Almost majority of all the long balls were lost balls. And he kept handing possession back to Bayern. And we were already struggling to control possession whatsoever. They're a good team. They're a dominant side.
Who's winning that? Who's winning the ball against Goretzka in the middle? No one. I told you earlier. I think Goretzka. I think that dude is so fucking good. Like he could be the best midfielder in the world. Like,
yeah. And I think, yeah, and I think that unfortunately, I think the decision making is not the greatest there. So I fully would love to see us get back to the 4-4-2, get 2 strikers, and they get the proper system, get a good keeper, giving good distribution up top, or at least controlling the possession a little bit better for us.
Weigl not being there was tough, man. Like some of my guys, it's my guy. You know what I mean? Him not being there was real tough today. And I don't know, maybe if we don't win that next game against we got Barca next.
We got Barcelona next and Camp Nou.
We have to
bare minimum a draw ideally a
We
win,
have
man.
to, yeah, we have to, because I fully expect Bayern to smash Barcelona. They don't take it lightly, like you said. They
Yeah.
don't take shit lightly. And they have Barcelona's number. Oh my god, they got their number. I mean, they got
But
everybody's number, really.
yeah, but here's the thing. All of a sudden, you got a situation where if Barcelona beats us, then the final match they go to Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich's already won and advanced out of the group stage. They're still going to want to win, but Barcelona, then all they need is a draw. And Barca's playing like shit, but Barca can go, let's try park the bus. We can at least hold on to the distribution, maybe a little bit better. And if they can nick out a draw, we're done. We're out. We got to go in for the victory at the Camp Nou. We have to go do it. If there's a time to win away at Barcelona, like I said, the last 9 home games, Barca's only managed 5 wins. We have the capacity to do it, right? So I hope we go for the win. But before
I agree with you.
Barcelona, we got Braga, man, and I don't want to sleep on Braga. Braga's been kind of they had a shit start to the season, in my opinion, but they're starting to find a little bit of their footing. They kind of they're not they're always a tricky side, and again, I feel like Braga wasn't, they felt off a little bit, but they're starting to kind of come into their own again, and they're going to give us a run for our money. And yes, it's at the Stade Luge, but it's on Sunday, so hopefully we can do it. And then, yeah, man, it's one step at a time.
I agree, man. I agree. I mean, I'm not losing faith in this team. I'll never lose faith in this team, but it just feels like, there you go. David Pereira said, 5 games, 0 goals allowed, and we're not a team that's scoring a lot of goals right now. You know what I mean? So that's not good. You got to squeak one out. Somebody's got to turn the tide here. Somebody has to get this team on their back. You know what I mean? Whether it's Chuck, I mean, somebody's got to do something. You got a lot of leaders in there. Otamendi, Vertonghen, those guys are leaders. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I don't know if it's falling on deaf ears, but there has to be a shakeup. Something has to happen. I'll tell you what, guys like Tarap and Mete aren't the answers right now. You know what I mean? Not moving forward. Neither is Everton. So there has to be something. Somebody has to be. And shout to Paulo Bernardo today, right? Who got some minutes today.
Yeah, that kid looks good, man. He's
looks good.
A big kid, eh?
Let that guy play, man. Let him play. Let that guy play. Yeah. I'd rather see him in the midfield than Beasley any day. Any day. I don't care where you could put Paulo Bernardo anywhere. Bernardo Silva, yeah.
Yeah.
You could put him anywhere.
He's a neat kid. He has good potential. He's a young guy. He's 19. And
you know what his problem is, though? He's fucking 19. That's the problem. That's JJ's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his parents got to be one of them's got to be from Brazil, and he's got to be at least 37 years old. At least. But that's just what his birth certificate says. Really, he's 40. That's really what the kind of guy that JJ really wants.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But yeah, no, Bernardo looks like a good kid, man. We got talent, man. There's talent on this team. That's why I get a little frustrated where sometimes, unfortunately,
I think we need to start that. Hashtag right there. Let Bernardo play, bro.
Yeah.
Hashtag let Bernardo play.
We'll see. It's
motherfucker ain't never gonna play.
But you know what George is gonna say? He's gonna say this instead. Like Bernardo Plau.
Yeah,
that's exactly what George Hughes would say, because the guy will butcher the Portuguese.
He doesn't even know their names.
He
doesn't even know their names.
Rodrigo, I think that was purely unintentional, but that worked out perfect, man. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, man, it's we need to build it's this situation right now, and I think I kept being hopeful after this election that something will kind of go from us, right? And then you got Vinicius, we got rid of him. That's again, it's some of the decisions, right? I don't know. It is. I hope so.
And these guys are gone, man. I mean, I know Jota's gone. I mean, I don't know if Celtics got $7 million to spend on him. I don't know.
They'll spend $7 million on him.
But they love this kid. Love this kid.
Here's the thing: is the kid is showing up. He's playing. $7 million is a true investment in a young talent that could be worth a lot more money.
He's playing so much better than Everton right now. I'd so much rather watch Jota play right now than Everton. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and then in Georgia chooses like this, how Georgia chooses hashtag will go. Oh God, I think we'll see. I don't at this pace. I don't see George Hughes getting the renewal on his contract. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, the expectation is win the league. win a domestic cup, go to knock out
I
to the
think
Champions
I
League.
think Rui Costa. I think Rui Costa wants to get his guy in there. I think he's got a guy in mind. He's gonna get his guy in there. This is gonna be his fingerprints all over it. If he doesn't do that, well,
Well,
I don't know. We got it
George,
wrong again. You got
yeah,
it wrong again, guys.
yeah.
I didn't get my because I can't vote yet. I have to wait. So it's y'all fault again. It's y'all fault again. I get to just sit back. I gotta wait a year. I gotta next year, by the next time the elections start, I'll be worth 2 votes, baby.
Yeah,
Let's get it.
let's get it. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's get it.
But yeah, man, guys, thank you so much for tuning in as always. It's so much fun. It's every single time Benfica doesn't show up, you guys do show up, and it actually makes me feel better about being part of this club. It's I have said it for years. The best part about this team, a lot of times, isn't what's on the field. It's the people around the stadium, the people around this team. The fact that I travel across the world and I wear this logo, and I get random strangers coming up to me and talking, and I absolutely love it. I get so excited, and it's the people, man, and it brings us together. And so hopefully, we'll have better days coming sooner or later.
Well said. Well said. I can't top that. So let Bernardo play.
Let Bernardo play. Peace.
Peace.